Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our last talk story of 2021. What a year it's been. We are going to close out the year highlighting our partners, our collaborative partners. So we have a few of them on here with us. Before we get started, I want to take a moment and hold acknowledgement and deep gratitude, appreciation and respect to the Coast Salish Nation, in which we are blessed to rely on their land, her resources, culture, and the people who continue to take care of this place that we call home, and also acknowledge that the Doulas tribe is still not federally recognized. So with that, my name is Mary. You might know me. I am the breastfeeding peer counselor at Open Arms, and I proudly serve the Pacific Islander community. And my co-host is Betty, and I will let you introduce yourself, Betty.
So we're in that still. It's been almost 2 years of Zoom, but I'm still like unmute. Thank you. I'm Betty. I'm one of the outreach coordinators, and I'm really excited for today to meet some of our partners and the different areas of expertise they have and hold in our collaborative to reinforce the education that we've been giving this year about the professionals that we have in our communities to serve the people in our community. And so I'm really excited because I know right now we have 4 different organizations. We're hoping to get our discuss our 5th and 6th organization here too. And I'm really, really excited because everybody has a great role, and there are things that we have touched on throughout the year, but not really. I think this is just going to be a nice recap for everything. So thank you. Mary, do you want to go through? Do you want to just pass it on to LaShante then to start with an introduction, or what would you like?
Yeah, actually, I was going to say LaShante is an awesome birth worker in the community, and she is involved in a wide spectrum of things, and she's also with Journey Midwives and Open Arms. So if it's all right with you, LaShante, I was wondering if we could save you for like second to the last, since you can represent both Journey and Open Arms. So
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I can go last, talking about Open Arms and our lactation program. So we can start with Vanessa. Would you like to introduce yourself and your personal area of expertise in your organization within the collaborative? Oh, you're muted.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Vanessa Lovejoy-Garan, and I am a full spectrum doula with Hummingbird Indigenous Doulas. We serve King County, and primarily our communities, the communities we serve are, if you self-identify as Native American, Alaskan Native, Native Hawaiian, or Pacific Islander, our services are free of charge and funded by Best Starts for Kids. Okay, so and I say full spectrum, meaning like the full spectrum of our reproductive life, right? That can mean abortion care, that can mean pregnancy loss, that can mean, birth and postpartum. I specifically have a great passion for helping folks through fertility and abortion care and those other full spectrum things that we don't necessarily talk about as often, but all of us need care in all those times in our lives. So I'm also a peer lactation counselor, and so Cami Goldhammer is our director. I'm our doula lead. We have 2 other, one full-time and 2 part-time doulas who are Native, And, we have our plans to expand and get more funding and have more Pacific Islander doulas. But yeah, it's been a big journey all year, serving clients virtually, in person, at the hospital, at your home birth. Like we're there. We haven't skipped a beat, and we stayed incredibly busy. And it is a joy to serve my community in all these ways. But yeah, I've been a doula since 2017, and just having this gift of serving with Cami and being with her and birthing our new program, Hummingbird Indigenous Doulas, and we will be having a kind of a thank you gala kind of celebration opening when that time comes. We're figuring that out, so stay tuned. But yeah, I think knowing Mary, knowing folks at Rainier, knowing, working with Emmy, like working in this collaborative is really special. It's like, oh, I get to birth with Emmy again, like one of my favorite things to do. Or being in a room and everybody in this birthing space is some kind of BIPOC identified person. Like, how special is that we get to take care of each other? So just a real honor, really humbled, and I'll just keep doing the work. Did I answer all those questions?
I think so. Yeah, you serve. What areas do you serve?
King County.
Just King County. Okay.
Yeah.
That is so awesome that you're offering services that aren't really talked about or known about.
A lot of taboo topics, right? So people in my care, like, they don't necessarily have a grandma or a mom or an auntie to talk about this stuff. It's like an uncomfortable topic. And for them to receive love from like an auntie like me is like, that's really special, and I'm happy to do it and happy to normalize those conversations.
Yeah. It's so necessary because it's real life stuff. It happens. It's a reality for a lot of us, and it's wonderful that you are normalizing it.
We offer childbirth education, but primarily just for the folks who are having, us as some kind of a doula, as a postpartum doula, as a birth doula. But we don't have like big organized classes. It's basically me. Cassandra does too, but Yeah.
Oh, so within your clientele, and you may have mentioned this, but just a reminder. Let's see. What is the cost to enter your program or enroll in your program?
Nope, it's no cost. It's funded by Best Starts for Kids. So as long as the pregnant person self-identifies, with those populations, Native American, Native Hawaiian, Alaskan Native, or Pacific Islander, we're here for you. So no cost.
That is.
Thanks for sharing that, Vanessa, because I feel like in our community, Pacific Islanders especially, if we're coming from the island straight to the States, or even if we've been here for 10 years and we came here young, as young teens, and are now in a stage of having our own family, we only know what our family knows. And for a lot of people, like on Guam, for example, you don't hear about home births. So you only have the option to go to the hospital. So when we moved to the States, it's like, I just want the hospital because that's what my mom went through, my aunties and cousins went through. So to know you have no cost care to give is like the biggest hurdle anyone to even just talk to somebody or to even watch an educational, like a program or a video about how to have. I'm sorry, I'm like jumbling. Like, there's so many things you're not supposed to do while you're pregnant, but like, have your glucose count low if that's something that you're highly sensitive to. We avoid it because there's just a cost that's always associated. And then sometimes in our communities, we're taught not to ask questions, even though we should, because more often than not, these services could be covered by insurance maybe, or just as an organization like yours, we cover it because there's a need.
or like being undocumented.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is a real barrier, that people don't want to speak out. They don't want to be heard when, like, you know, compliance means no talking, and like, I just need to get through the system and not be seen. And that is a means of survival, which is very real for a lot of people in our community. So I honor that. So not every, you know, home birth isn't for everyone, you know, but like, at least we could have that conversation of that, this is what it might look like. And, you know, meeting some midwives of, you know, like a meet and greet, you know, when they realize, oh, we can just talk to them and see if we like them. Like, yes. And you can say no, you know, you could always say no, or shop around. Yeah, really valuable stuff.
And I
It's one
just
of the
wanted to
things.
add one.
Oh,
Sorry,
no, go
Mary.
ahead.
Sorry, I wanted to say thank you also for adding your postpartum support also for abortion care and pregnancy loss. We talked about that, I think, in September or October. I'm sorry, I'm like losing track of months. And you're right. It's like such a taboo thing. So like when these situations happen, we mentioned at that talk story about pregnancy loss that you can take bereavement leave. Like, you can ask your employer that if that's a benefit for you. And now we know there is care and support that we can sign up for that doesn't cost anything to help us go through that, because it's really, really difficult for families to know how to do that. So a professional is so helpful to have. Okay, sorry, Mary, go ahead.
No, that kind of leads into what I was going to say also, is one of the things that I love about all of our services and working with doulas and counselors and birth workers is that you learn how to advocate for yourself. I'm sorry, did you hear I thought my phone was on silent. You might have heard RTD2. That's my text. It's my text notification. But okay, so yeah, one of the things that I love is the empowerment that comes with having a birth keeper, a birth worker with you, is you are taught, or you're shown these things that you might have not known otherwise in like a more traditional setting. And you really learn how to advocate for yourself and your health. So it's one of the things that I love about all the people here and all the work that everyone is doing. And with that, I will pass the mic over to Arnidra with Rainier Valley Midwives.
Yes, hello. How are you all doing today?
It's so nice
All
to
right.
have you.
Yes, so I am Arnidra. I'm with Rainier Valley Midwives, and Rainier Valley Midwives holds a very special place in my heart. So I am their childbirth educator, but I, started working with Rainier Valley Midwives as a mother, expecting mother of my second child. So I have 4 kids. Two of them were caught by Rainier Valley midwives, and when I was called to the work of, I started being a doula a year ago. I just naturally went back to, Jody Lynn to talk to her about it. And she was like, oh, no, you're going to come on board and we're going to put you to work. And so I'm an educator. And so I naturally started doing the childbirth education classes. And those childbirth education classes are for all birthing parents, BIPOC, but we take everyone. And it is, I guess one of the biggest misconceptions about what is a childbirth education class. A lot of people think it's, breathing classes, Lamaze, and all of that. But no, a childbirth education class teaches about everything that has to do with just childbirth, any part of it, before, middle, and after. And it also is a place where you can come as a birthing parent to get all of those questions answered that you may not feel comfortable asking your health provider. And so you build a true, support system. And our childbirth education classes are free to all participants, so I'm there as the educator, and then we have the midwife with us. And so you can tap into the midwife's knowledge about things. We share resources. We uplift one another, and we just do what we have to do to make sure that you, as a birthing parent, will have a healthy birth. I've had participants from New York. We've had participants from all other states. I mean, some of them were getting ready to go to work as we were, closing class down. But that's what it's about. And so, I would encourage birthing parents to please become part of a childbirth education class, because like I have 4 kids, and I actually was able to join with my 4th child, and I learned so much, so I find a lot of parents who will say, oh no, I already have 2, I'm good. And I'm going, I learned some things that I was just like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why is it my last birth? I'm hoping that I'm a part of this, I'm getting this knowledge now. But, information is forever changing. And so there's so many new things to learn with every birth. So let's see. I think I covered everything. We serve all of King County and Rainier Valley Midwives. We have a continuum of care, which means that you receive a midwife. If you choose to come, it's called a birth bundle. You receive a midwife, you receive a birth doula, a postpartum doula, and we're here to be with you all steps of the way. So I don't know if there are any additional questions that anybody would like to ask, but we have our classes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And our classes are at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So we just finished up our last cycle of classes. And we are in the process now of kind of revamping and rewiring our classes. So we use the March of Dimes curriculum, which, is great curriculum, but we need to make sure that we're serving our population. So we are, kind of revamping that curriculum so that it serves and meets the needs of us. And so, yes, if you would like to join our childbirth education classes, you see the name Rainier Valley Midwives at the bottom. You can reach us there on our website, and they will definitely get you the information to be a part of it. So, any questions that anybody may have?
I always have questions. Sorry, Mary. I thought it is like no awkward silence, even if it's 1 second.
Yes, yes.
But I truly just do have questions, because I just had my second daughter just turned 1 a few days ago, and I didn't opt for childbirth education classes with my first pregnancy 5 years ago because the cost was $180, and in my mind I was like, that $180 pays for this, this, and this.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I have my daughter, I'm pregnant during the pandemic, and it's only towards the 3rd trimester where I'm like, okay, it's now or never for this childbirth education class that the nurse keeps calling about. And I sit in there, and everything the instructor says, I'm like, I should have sat here since the 1st trimester.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But this, you're a second time mom thinks she knows everything, but you go into this class and you're like, oh, that's why your body does that for that reason. And so I wanted to know what is like one thing, because I feel like a lot of our families are large, so we may have children who are near, they're grown up. So why would I take another child? Why would I start taking childbirth class if I've already had like 2 children? Or if I had such a good pregnancy, why is it necessary for me? So what are some of the...
Yes. So no pregnancy is the same. No child is the same. So you may feel like your body is the same, which it is not the same. It is very important to get into a childbirth education class. Also, research is changing all the time. And so, I know a lot of us, can I just say this real quick, because I will talk a lot. So I'm an educator, and I'm just going to leave it at that. When you go to the doctor, we always trust what the doctors have to say, right? But, not every doctor takes it upon themselves to continue to educate themselves with the ongoing changes that especially happen for people of color, and as far as it's concerned with medicine. So if you had a child, let's say even 2 years ago, it has changed 2 years ago to now. So it's I'm telling you, I recovered in this my fourth. I recovered within those 6 weeks just because I had this support and this care that I did not have before. And I was just going, oh my gosh, all of the heartache, all of the pain that I could have saved myself from struggling through this. And here's somebody that has all this knowledge and help and wealth of knowledge that are here for us. Let's take advantage of it. It's only to help us. And so it empowers you to go to that healthcare provider if you're not choosing to have a home birth and to ask those questions. And if you're too shy, right, you can ask the questions in the class so that you are more in an intimate setting, that you feel comfortable with asking questions. No judgment, no, I mean, and not even that, but then you learn from the birthing parent next to you. There's so much that I didn't even know that happened, that they're not in the books. It's not something that's just public knowledge, that we can learn from each other. We can learn from our traditions. We can learn from the things that we have been taught by wisdom and not in a book. So I really love, being a part of childbirth education classes. Even though I'm the facilitator and the teacher, I love the classes because I'm continuing to learn so much that I can share with the next class and the next class and the next mother, birthing parent.
That's so cool. So I have a question. Say, I'm like 5 months pregnant, or I hear about your childbirth ed class after like the first month. Is it too late to join? Can you join at any time, or do you have to start, from the beginning of the class?
Yeah, so you can join at any time in your pregnancy. Some mothers come for 2 to 3 classes. They get what they need, and we may not see them again. A lot of times they are with us, as the midwife, they're with that midwife. So that's maybe they got what they needed. And some birthing parents have stayed with us for the entire time. So the classes are designed for 9 sessions, but we start talking about different things, and you have to move a topic to the next week and the next week. So we are not strict in, we must talk about this topic today. We speak about whatever you need for that class, for that time, for that moment, because that's who it's about. It's about you. It's not us pushing topics on, participants. So yes, you come and you receive what you need, and we're just excited to be a part of the journey.
When does your first set of classes start for 2022?
Yes, so we will start that first week after New Year. So let me see. I believe that's the 5th, because the 3rd is Monday. So January 5th.
Okay. And you said it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, right?
Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
And Wednesdays, sorry.
And so you can contact me at Arnidra, ARNEIDRA, at myrb, as in victory, cc.org. And that is my direct email if you would like the Zoom links, because right now we're on Zoom, okay? And we're not doing in-person classes just yet, but we do it on Zoom. And so hopefully everyone will be able to meet up on Zoom, and that's something that will work.
That is so cool. I'm so glad. I didn't know RVM had childbirth ed classes, so I'm excited for people over it.
Yes.
Did we hit all the questions? I think so, yeah. LaShante, would you like to speak about all the work that you do at Journey and that Journey Midwives provides for the community?
Yes, thank you. I would love to. My name is LaShante Raiwalui. I am a health educator with Journey Midwife Services in Seattle. So basically what I do, and my coworker who was to be here as well, Brittany Blanco, we hold supportive pregnancy care sessions virtually on Zoom. These sessions are specifically designed for the BIPOC community. And next week is actually going to be our last session for the year. Unfortunately, I don't think JMS is going to continue providing this specific service. But if you follow us, Brittany and I, we will definitely be hopefully heading into more supportive pregnancy care online virtually for free. But at Journey, we basically created these sessions to focus on the mental health, creating a community for everyone in the BIPOC community. We did specifically have groups for Black and African mothers or expecting parents, but we did decide to merge them together. And with that, just so much power. I can't even begin to explain what type of greatness came from it. I am almost like shaking just thinking about our last couple of sessions, but it's more of support. It's supportive care. So yes, it is support. So we're basically providing you parents, expecting parents, with that group setting care where they are free to express their worries, do meditation, learn different tactics to get through all of the stuff that we face as BIPOC parents and caregivers. Right now, we do serve the Seattle area. I'm also a doula, and you can find my information out on the Journey Midwives website, as long as Open Arms. I feel like this is a lot, so I'm getting like winded, and my kids finally left the room, so I can actually think clearly. So
It's all good. Take your time. Take whatever you need.
No worries. I think this is such a good a program that you have, because sometimes you feel alone in your pregnancy and you just want someone to talk to and someone who could relate. And again, like a professional to be by. You're doing awesome. Thank you. And you don't sound winded. I'll tell you winded when you walk up 2 flights of stairs. You're like,
yeah,
you're doing good.
No, you should hear me actually walk up 2 flights of stairs. But I'm not going to dive into that. So it is free. The SPC sessions are free. I do offer my doula services on a sliding scale. The most that I've charged is $800. So anywhere from $0 to $800. Pro bono work is almost my favorite thing in the world to do, because birth doulas are very needed necessity with my communities, the Black and Pacific Islander communities.
Yeah. And that also okay. So how do we transition to this? Because you're also a doula with Open Arms. So there's a lot of ways where we can, if you want to work with LaShante, you can.
Yes.
We get into that.
With Open Arms, you can go onto their website, and I believe you do fill out a, well, I wouldn't call it a questionnaire, but you meet specific income requirements, and then you get matched with birth professionals for no cost at all to you. So that's also amazing. Yeah, or you can contact me, and then we can set it up directly, and then go through me, and we'll just do the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to work with LaShante, you could just say, hey, I already know who I want to work with.
Yeah.
I've had people when I work for Open Arms as a birth doula and the birth doula services, they're just like, okay, we'll just match you with Vanessa. You already know who you want her. So ask for LaShante and she'll be your birth doula.
Thanks.
Open Arms. Yeah.
LaShante, I was going to say, I know throughout the year we've talked to so many different doulas and so many different birth professionals, and we're discussing right now how, like balancing between journey and open arms. And I feel like when we have so many, because there's so many people who might, not that so many people might be expecting at the same time, but we can't just provide one doula per organization, right? You need a team of doulas or a team of birth workers to support each other. I saw a Instagram post that said backup doulas are just as important as your primary doula. And I thought that was really, really awesome to note, because people don't understand sometimes that if in cases, like for example, I said this back in January, that I was really happy to have my doula through Open Arms. I met her, and 5 days later, I was giving birth. I was like, I'm at the hospital. Can you come now? And I met her in person for literally she was there right before the baby came out. And I was like, those were really important minutes, because I don't think I could have done that without you. And we don't know how available our organizations are. So it's nice to lean on to each other and have this like positive referral to a partner and say, yes, and here's somebody that I know works with our community. And so seeing your faces here, and like, I love what you just said, Vanessa. So thanks for sharing that, because it makes it not be a competitive space among professionals, which sometimes I've seen previously. And so the work that we're doing with this collaborative is so, so nice to be around.
Everybody benefits from more doulas, right? Like, my caseload is always full, so I'm not worried. Like, I will always be busy. There's always a lactating person that needs help, or somebody who needs help at home, postpartum or childbirth ed classes. Like, I'm so glad we're all here. We can't do it alone.
I agree. The birth community, we literally live by what we're doing. So we're constantly being selfless. We're constantly offering our emotional help to everyone else and our physical help. And we do that for each other because we understand that that's something that we all need. So, yeah.
I love that.
Well, can I just, it seems like some people may wonder kind of like, what does a doula really do, right? That's kind of funny. What does a doula really do? Can you all kind of answer, how you're there as a support? I get that question all the time when I tell people that I'm a doula, and how you support the birthing parent and the family. It's just not the person that is carrying the baby, but it's the entire family that kind of lean on the doula for that additional support. Or, is this normal? Is this natural? I think when I attend births, the one thing that I notice when it's a birthing parent's first time, having a baby, and I support at home births, just so you all know, like the sense of emergency that people may have experienced in the actual hospital is not there when you're at home. So you can say, no, relax, it's okay. We're just you can relax through this contraction. You can lay down, if you want to. You're like, what? It's like, yes, it's okay. But the mental support of being there for a first time parent, of just letting that parent know that you have everything inside of you that you need to bring this new life into the world. I think is so empowering. And I love seeing the after effect of like, I did it. I mean, I feel like that no matter how, what, when, how you have and bring that child into the world, it's just so exciting to see someone do something they didn't think that they could do. And it's exciting to be a part of that, of going, I knew you could do it, and I told you could do it, so you did it. So, just kind of talking through more of like, what's a doula, and why would I even want one?
Yes, everything you said is 100% correct. From my perspective, what a doula is that gentle, loving voice in the back of your head, the reassurance, the emotional support, like you said, and when it comes to birthing person, I like to call myself a birthing coach, because I don't really like to use the term doula very much. But as a birthing coach, I'm there to remind you of how you're breathing. Check your breathing. How are you sitting? Are your fists clenched? Do you need some lavender? Do you need something to change in the atmosphere to help you push through? What do you need? I'm specifically there to focus on your needs. I was listening to a webinar with Adrienne Brown, and she said in her talk that she, oh my gosh, where's my notes? She said that she doesn't indulge in the drama, but she holds tension. So what that meant for me as a doula is that when you do get to those parts where you feel like you can't push through or you do need some real extra support, we're there. I'm making sure that the room is focused and honed in on that. But then when other influences come in, like we all have family that want to be there, or the phone's ringing, it's not the right music, I'm also there to direct it away from the drama as well. So yes, emotional support. I'm there to be your little voice. Hopefully you all remember my voice today, and then when you're giving birth, you hear me in the back of your head.
Or right beside you, right? Hopefully.
Yes.
I love this. And one of our partners, Faisa with Global Perinatal Services, couldn't make it today, or she might pop up, but she is, gosh, how do you talk about being overwhelmed? Faisa does so much work in the community, and I don't know how she sleeps. She's also a mother of, I believe, 3 boys. So I don't know how she does what she does, and she's a midwife. But I just wanted to shout out her and Global Perinatal Services. They offer, she's a midwife, and she has doulas working with her too. And not only that, they offer pregnancy groups. So every Saturday, I believe, there's they have a moms group, and they also have a group, a support group with fathers. So and really that's a theme that I'm seeing also with our collaborative, is just this holistic space. So you have like with the childbirth education, it's like you could say that's your head, and with the supportive care pregnancy, and with doulas, that's your heart. They help with your emotions and everything in between. So and I love that the services in our collaborative are all free of cost. Thank you, BSK, Best Starts for Kids.
Can I answer that question too, Mary?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Thanks for posing it, Amidra. So I like to think of myself as like that auntie, like the non-judgmental but nosy auntie. And it's like, tell me all your business. You have no baggage here. Like you could just lay it all out. And and that's really special, especially when it comes to like I get to support queer families. I'm queer, and so to support a queer, like, BIPOC Pacific Islander Native family is like extra special. I'm like in birth keeper heaven. Like my ancestors are just like rejoicing when I get to be that person for that family, So yeah, it's basically somebody who's done it all before. And there aren't like not too many big deals, so like like what Amidra was saying, like sometimes in hospital settings, things feel like a big deal. And yeah, they might be. They're there to, thank goodness they're trained to do what they do, right? So the awful things don't happen. But at the same time, like, I don't know how often I talk about induction throughout my work week. Almost all those conversations where it's like my provider is saying I need to get induced. Oh, what was the medical reason? You know, and we get to really dive deep into that. And maybe the week before, the month before, we were thinking about kind of the trauma with family, you know. So it's like that big spectrum of like, yeah, the medical stuff. Let's read this research together, or this is what that means. And but it's also just holding that space of like, you know, intergenerational trauma that we hold in our bodies, you know, and we still have to grow our babies. And so we offset that by the love we give and listening and providing, if needed, external referrals, you know. So if somebody needs to see somebody more regularly, you know, like a therapist or a more a group therapy kind of thing, we can do that too. So we're kind of like that jumping off point of like, okay, I don't want to do this alone. And there are these, you know, groups like ours or orgs like ours, or we can open up that world and say, oh yeah, I can get these services. I deserve these services. And we've made these services for them. So.
Yes, and Vanessa, you sparked something in my mind when you were just talking about, you know, is it too late for someone if they've already been, you know, being seen by a different provider to jump on board, you know, to have a doula, to have a midwife, you know, is it ever too late?
Or to switch providers.
Yes, to switch
right?
providers. Yeah.
Like, you know, if there's somebody available, no, it's not too late.
Yeah.
You know, let's start making our calls. So
yes, I'm hearing somebody that's listening going, is it too late for me? It's not
right?
too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that for the midwives at Rainier Valley, the only time that they may not accept care, accept someone for care is if you haven't been at all and it's your last kind of couple of weeks. It's kind of, that's when it's maybe too late because we don't know if there are risks with, you know, having the home birth. I would say that's the only time that I would say someone may ask you to, you know, to reconsider where you would want to have your care. But it's not, I was just like, we had a client that switched care and came on board to doing a home birth literally probably 4 weeks before having the baby. And I was also someone that did that with my first child when I did the walk at the, and I was in Texas. Okay, so I did the walk and I was like, I can't have my baby in here. And I went to a midwife and I thought, oh my gosh, and like, this lady is just too late. But no, I had my babies, not too late. So if you are wanting that type of care and that experience and support, because it can be, you can have the support with you at the hospital as well. I just wanted to let that person know it's not too late, okay?
And that's so good to know, because I think we have that in our heads from traditional settings, you know, that, oh, you're just kind of it. When you meet with a provider, you're kind of with them till the end. And it's great to know that, no, you have choices and you can advocate for those choices. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
Mary, before we go, because we have about 10 more minutes, let's tell us all about, I'm saying breastfeeding because when we translate that in our languages, it's more common than hearing the professional, or I'm not even sure if it's lactation, just the medical term also. But you're the lactation peer counselor. So
I interchange breastfeeding and lactation. We like lactation because it's more of an inclusive term and it's shorter to say than breast or chest feeding or body feeding. So we just say lactation. But I'm with Open Arms Perinatal Services, and we have a few programs services within Open Arms. There's birth doula services that LaShante is part of, and Vanessa was a doula too with Open Arms. We have the outreach doula services that is with pregnant people for up to 2 years. And we have my program, which is the lactation program. So we are, well, first, we provide breastfeeding support to our communities, and it's free of charge. We're also funded through BSK, Breast Starts for Kids. So that's how we're able to offer our services free of charge. So if you fall within our focus communities, you're able to enroll. And so we currently are serving the Black African American communities, I'm sorry, I might get this wrong. Native Alaskan, the Indigenous Native American community, Latinx. We just hired a new peer counselor to serve us the Spanish-speaking Latinx community, and I serve the Pacific Islander community. So if you fall within those communities, you can enroll and receive care through us. So we like to see, you can join at any time in your pregnancy. So ideally, we'd love to see you prenatally. So we give prenatal education to really prepare you for when you're giving birth and that first latch and that golden hour. So you kind of know and are prepared for what to expect and what you can do. After that, it's really, we work with you for however long you want to nurse your baby. So that could be short term, like 3 to 6 months, up to a year. And we provide just support and encouragement. We help you through, any difficulties or issues that you have. We also do developmental screenings for the baby. So it's nice to see, like where your baby's at a certain point or a certain month and what they could be doing. And also we're not postpartum doulas, but we do monitor and we do like check in with you and how you're doing after birth. We are also within Open Arms. We also have resources that we can refer you to. And we have an awesome new family services team that if Open Arms, if one of our team members or one of our programs can't offer the service, they will connect you with resources like with housing or with legal services, food, education, mental health support. So we have those services available as well.
That is a lot. As you're talking, I was thinking, I've never been told that lactation support could start before you gave birth.
Yeah.
I've always just thought it was a postpartum thing, and I always just thought it was the nurse who comes in after and says, do you need help, after baby was there. So to hear you say that we could start beforehand is really nice, because as a second-time parent, if you didn't have a successful breastfeeding journey and you wanted to try to do that on your second go around, then I think that would be something people jump on. So I feel like next year, all these things that we're learning, and even as we're recapping, I'm just like, why is this brand new to me? It shouldn't be. But when we start out 2022, I feel like our communities are going to be so much more supported, and this is going to be familiar, and then it's just going to be a normal thing for us to reach out to our partners and get them into these services. And I also wanted to say that I had a great breastfeeding journey in 2016 all the way till 30 months. I'm one of those people, like 30 months. And then this journey, I was like, so much issues the second time around. And now I wish I had made time to learn about the services that were offered, or just learn more instead of being like, oh, I had a good first go around, so I don't think I need it, because I needed it the first 2 months of this pregnancy or this birth, and it was like a lot of. So now I'm just like, next time I'm expecting, which is not right now, but next time we're doing the lactation lounge before we actually go to a delivery. So thank you.
Thank you. This is awful, but you're reminding me of a few things. We do have lactation lounges, so it's just drop-in support on Zoom. We have it 3 days a week, where you can just come in and meet with a peer counselor and a midwife and just ask questions, or just be among other people who are also breastfeeding and nursing their babies. And we are starting this month and then onto 2022, but we're offering 2 classes, like lactation centered classes per month. And every month we'll have a preparing for lactation or breastfeeding class. So that's really like the early part while you're pregnant. These are things that you can do. And we have one tomorrow, actually. So if you're interested, you can go on openarmsps.org /lactation. I don't have the bit.ly link, but yeah, we have a class starting tomorrow, and that's the preparing for lactation. And then the following week, we're going to go into foods. So foods that help you in your lactation journey and your breastfeeding journey. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Oh, I'm just going to join it tomorrow. It's like the end of the year, and I'm just like, I'll be there. Do you guys want to add anything else? I know you've already talked about your organization and your specialty, and thank you for sharing where you serve and how much it costs, because those are very big barriers to getting care, is transportation, financial. And we touched a few things that are happening in January. Is there anything else that you guys want to add before we close out? And then I do want to share all your contact information as you talk. And
yeah, I guess I never really said where we're located. That might be something great for everyone to know. So we're located in South Seattle off of Meade Street. We just built a new birthing center, so you can stop by and check it out and see all the great things that we're doing there. And we have the clinic, and that is open right now, but the birthing side still getting there. But we're in South Seattle, so right in Hillman City.
Nice.
Thank you, Anitra. And I think I shared it earlier, but I'll just share it one more time. Your childbirth classes are on Zoom, and this is your email address. So if you have screenshot this and send it to your cousin or your granddaughter or whomever is expecting in your family. Again, there's no cost to this, and I am just blown away that you had a class held. And I love that it's virtual, because then we connect with people across borders, and that's awesome.
Yes, they can join from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you are planning on breastfeeding, or if you know anyone that's planning on breastfeeding and they're in the Pacific Islander community, to include Filipinos, for the Filipinos are included in that for this particular program. You can refer them to me. I have some space available in my caseload. And also we have space available for our Spanish-speaking Latinx and Indigenous Native American caseloads as well. So.
I did have one thing that I wanted to share before we go. Next year, I will be holding a mother support group. It's going to be called Womb Healing, and I'll be getting that out there. I started it in November, but unfortunately had to end it early. So I will be starting it back up. It'll be free of cost, and you'll be start to see flyers about that here next year. So
cool. So many things. I'm so excited.
Lashante, is that I'm sorry, Mary, I didn't mean to interrupt. Is your email can you tell me what your email address is, and is it the
Yes.
Shantae at Womb Healing Good? Okay. Thank you.
And Vanessa, were you?
Yeah, so our website is still in construction, but it's hummingbird-ifs.org. I'll put that in the chat, and then the info at hummingbirdoulas.org if you want to inquire about services. Okay, let me put that on.
I'm typing it as we speak.
I'm really excited for 2022 and all the great things coming from everyone. And I'm hoping that the community will use these resources. It's so awesome. And all free of cost by just people who love what they do. And sometimes you don't find that often. Hi.
I agree. I love that we can refer clients to each other. I love that it's accessible for everyone, and we're making it as accessible as possible. And I love that you guys are patient as I put these last few banners up. And thank you guys. I love that you make time every month when we ask the month prior to come talk about your work and about the community. So thank you so much for being here. We gave Hummingbird's info, and if you want to connect with Vanessa directly, this is her email address. I really appreciate it, and I love that this is like around like whole body care that we should have. Everyone should have. Like, it shouldn't be an option. It should be a default offer for everyone, not just would you like to have this? This is what you're getting as soon as you learn that you're positive. I'm just like, as soon as you learn that you're expecting. Yeah. Do you want to close it out, Mary? This is the last one for the year, so I'm excited because next year is just going to be, I have so much high hopes for all the organizations that we've been working with. So
thank you all for having me and asking me to be a part of.
Thank you for just thank you for all your Vanessa. It's such a joy to have you each time, and you're always so supportive. And you're like, yes, I will come on and talk about this.
Thank you, because it's the work that you do, especially the pregnancy loss and all the other care that isn't spoken about, because we're always in our communities, it's always like, be positive, be positive, be positive, but we're never taught to feel what we're feeling. And I think the more we can do that, the more we can heal or just work through what's going on. So thank you.
That's real. I loved having you, Arnidra, and meeting you, and having you also, Lashante. And thank you all for doing, for creating a safe space. Like Betty said, you create that space to allow people to feel what they feel. And that's really big, especially during this beautiful transition and journey of bringing a new person into the world and how that transforms everything. So there's a lot of exciting things in the pipeline for 2022, and I'm excited. So thank you all at home watching us. I hope everyone has a great new year, and if you celebrate, great holiday season, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you, Mary and Betty, Vanessa and Arnidra. It was so nice to meet you too.
You too. I know I'll see everyone in the near future.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Good night.